Hey guys, so I was watching this Netflix show, like something just came up, How to Get Rich. And this is a reality show, and I'm into reality shows. I actually love them. So I thought, let's check this out. In the first 10 minutes, I saw something very interesting, and I just wanted to talk about it here. So basically, as we start out, they're interviewing a couple where the guy is the stay-at-home dad and the woman is working and she's earning a lot of money. And what was interesting for me was to see that how the troubles of the stay-at-home dad are so similar to what we hear from all the stay-at-home moms. So let me first tell you what the conversation was. Some of those sentences are exactly what they said and some are kind of summarized. Just as a prefix, this is a show where there is a host. He's the financial advisor and he's going there to fix financial troubles of couples, right? So this couple has a lot of financial troubles and now they're talking about it. So the guy, the stay-at-home dad says, the more money she makes, the less valuable I am. When I was working, I had the freedoms to do the things that I wanted to do with my own money. But then we relied more and more on me taking care of the housework. I didn't want to leave my job intentionally, but then I stopped working. And he says, I work harder now than when I was an engineer. And I get less respect and less reward. Haven't we heard this before? I literally have absolutely no decisions in anything to do with money. Basically, the wife wants to know what he's spending the money on, why is he spending it. He always has to take permission. Then he says, she definitely devalues what I do for the house. And then the host asks and the wife admits that she doesn't trust him financially. So the host is asking her, well, you trust him enough to have kids with him and you don't trust him financially. And she also gets a bit defensive and she says, well, women have been doing it forever. When they are stay at home with kids, they have to ask for money, they have to ask for an allowance, they have to ask for access. And then the guy says, honey, a lot of the women that are in my position end up like miserable and getting out of their relationship. What about the ones that don't? And then listen carefully what she goes on to say. I'm the one who works, so it's okay for me to decide who has access, who doesn't. What a typical line. And the guy says, well, I quit my job. Women do it too, and they're not cut off. I have made a lot of sacrifices so that you can make this money. Compensate me for that. You won't. This is basically exactly the scenario that we've been hearing about in the patriarchal system for about hundreds or thousands of years. It's just that in this case, the roles are reversed. So what does this tell you? Now, this was a US couple. One thing I do want to mention here that problems like these, like marriage issues, they are similar all across the world. Sometimes Indians think that, oh, US couples are just very different. No, they're not. And as we see here, human nature is also very similar between genders. The moment the wife got power with money, she just acted like all the men that have acted powerful because of money with their wives. So the problem is not in men or women, the problem is in power. Power corrupts. So one of the most fundamental advice I give couples is never ever give your partner full financial control over you. It's bound to cause some big issues. Of course, each choice has its own pros and cons, but please remember, essentially this life is a solo journey. You were born alone, you will die alone, and you should have some say over your destiny, and money matters. Money gives you say over your destiny to some degree. And look at relationships like this. Ultimately, the relationship suffers, doesn't it? Because even the wife has now become somebody that she never thought she would. She has become such a version of a human which she probably hated all her life when she heard stories of how men have treated women. The husband is feeling dominated, devalued, disrespected. She never thought she would do all of this to her husband, but yet here we are. So I say, whoever you are, whatever the position of your house is, do encourage your partner to get a job, to do something financially. Because I'm literally telling you, don't trust yourself. Like, I wouldn't trust myself if I was to have full financial control over my partner. Who knows what I'll do? Who knows what I'll become? I don't even want to try that. So in the long run, it's in the interest of the couple that both of them should be financially independent. And of course, it may come with some discomfort because now, who will take care of the house chores? Who will take care of the kids? You'll have to divide roles. The person who was working earlier may have to cut down on work or spend more time at home, or both of them would now have to spend money and give it to outside people to do those chores for them. But all of these smaller sacrifices are worth it. Financial freedom is more important. And finally, if you have absolutely no way that both of you can get a job or do something to earn money, then you can try this arrangement. The person who's stay at home should get a fixed salary from the person who's working. Simple. But the question is, how do you decide this number? Now, I can't of course give you a real figure or an exact percentage, but I can give you some factors to keep in mind. If you're thinking about a percentage, you can think of the range between 25 to 50% of the working person's salary. But then you can take into account two more factors. The minimum salary of the stay-at-home person should be at least the value of the work that they are doing. That should be at least the minimum, because this is the money you literally pay to an outside person to get the same job done, right? But to keep things fair, there should be a maximum value too. And the maximum value could be, what would this person would have gotten if they were in the job market? Like, given their profile, education, if they were working for such and such years, assuming, let's say, if you've been married for 10 years, they would have had 10 years of work experience. By this time, how much salary would a person in their shoes be earning? Get an estimate of that, and that could be like the top limit. So keeping all these factors in mind, you must literally decide on a percentage, and based on that, transfer an amount from the working person's account to the stay-at-home person's account. This transfer is necessary. You can't just make it like an obvious agreement. Oh yes, let's just assume it's your money. No, it should be an account operated by that other person. So now what has happened is both of them are now earning individuals, and now they will take care of their household just like two earning individuals would. And there my recommendation is usually you should decide certain ratio which you can share to a joint account and then spend money with it, and have some individual separate money on the side. So that philosophy doesn't have to be changed here. Now, I'll be honest here, I haven't really seen any couple do this, at least personally. Like, I don't know of any couple who would transfer a salary from a working person's account to the stay-at-home person's account. So technically, this last piece of solution is untested, but my instincts say it should work, because the underlying principle is wherever there is conflict, it's better to quantify things. And what we just did is nothing but quantification. By the way, if somebody has an arrangement like that, do let me know in the comments. I would love to know. And if somebody listens to this video and wants to try this arrangement at home, do it and then let me know. I would be super curious. And if you like this video, all I want from you right now is like it. Tell me in the comments how much you like it. Subscribe and do hit the bell icon. Thanks for listening. Shridhar Life School now specializes in relationship counseling. We start with an in-depth checkup or assessment of your relationship, your strong and weak areas. Now, based on that, our therapists will help you using world-class techniques and interventions, which have been developed after decades of research in marital therapy. It's always better if both partners come for counseling, but if for some reason your partner is unable to join, you can definitely start on your own. To book sessions, visit our website shridharlifeschool.com.